VR! So I attended a really cool event this week with my friend Ian, who, by the way, has been paying to have like seeds and stuff sent here because he has this awesome plan for our orchard. I think I showed the plans for that last week. And so the clover just arrived along with a bunch of like marigolds or flowers that I'm going to be planting in the spring, but I just planted the clover today. That was cool, and looking forward to seeing what happens to that. Also found out we have a bunch of wild onions, so I went and picked some of those. I feel bad because when Ian and Lindsay left last week, I dug up a bunch of chives in our front yard and was like, here, have some chives. Those were also wild onions, so I should have pulled them up a little bit more. But yeah, why did I bring that up? Ian and I went to a startup party on, when was that? Wednesday, which was with Fractured Atlas, this company that, you know, so many, I love all these totally loose connections that lead to things in the city. At the Opera America conference, which I go to with my office because of Alexa, who used to work for Opera America, and we thought it'd be a good opportunity for me to show VR stuff. At an Opera America conference, I met Jessica Kiger, who we talked about VR opera and that kind of stuff, and I went over to see their production of Barbara Seville. All this stuff has been covered in WACTS episodes. And then after the show, I saw Liz, I can't remember her last name, but she's one of the like executive directors or something like that at Lincoln Center, and talked very briefly about VR, and she's like, you know who you need to talk to? Adam Hutler over at Fractured Atlas. They're trying to do some stuff with VR, and I was like, cool. So I got in touch with Adam via Twitter. We met, had Korean food, and he basically said, well, you know, why don't you start by introducing people to VR? And so, you know, write a blog post or something. And obviously I've been crazy busy with a bunch of other stuff. I had to finish up that essay for the thing talking about my Germany experience, which again I dashed off while Alistair was in the children's hospital, and then whatever other things I had going on that had deadlines. But anyway, I finally got to writing the blog post the other day, and that turned out really well. I was happy with how that looked, and I basically was like, hey, how's this? I like had it all in Google Drive, and Adam was like, looks fantastic. Try Medium. That's this blogging platform. And so I posted it on there, and it seems like people are getting a kick out of it, so that's really cool. But anyway, the same day that I had that ready to go, which was Wednesday, yeah, he had this party going, which I guess he does once a year, which is just like a big opportunity for everyone who uses Fractured Atlas to hang out and meet. So Ian and I were there, and we talked to a bunch of people, directors, producers, all sorts of arts people. There was a really cool dance performance with some music, really good hors d'oeuvres, really good alcohol. The signature drink of the night was this kind of ginger beer. It was like a Moscow Mule. I think they called it a Brooklyn Mule. So that was all really fun. And why am I talking about VR? Because most of the people I was talking to there were interested in VR stuff. So I was showing them my headset and talking to, you know, various people that may or may not have use for this stuff, threw out a bunch of business cards, and then Ian and I ended up chatting with a couple ladies that feels weird to say, a couple young women who were about our age, involved in theater, and we actually went to a bar with them after, which was really cool. And you know, there's something interesting about that also, when it's like, he's engaged, I'm married. I don't know if either of them were in a relationship, but they knew our situation, and I don't think there was anything, you know, like romantic going on, but it was the first time in a long time that I just kind of went out for drinks with women without, you know, my wife or something like that. I don't know why I'm making a big deal out of it. I guess just because it was new. But we had a lovely time. There's a German girl who recommended a great beer for us, and the other girl, an American, and we had some great stories about, you know, time in London and stuff like that. Bonded over all sorts of things, and the coolest thing about her actually was the fact that she basically left school after I think like 6th or 7th grade, and then basically just taught herself whatever she wanted to learn. And then actually when she went to college at NYU Tisch, it was really hard for her to get back in this cycle of like, oh, there are assignments that I have to do just because the teacher tells me I need to do them, not because I think it'll actually be good for my education. And so that was kind of interesting to chat with her about, because I think we've all experienced in different capacities elements of college or school where it's like, is this ever going to come in handy? And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So yeah, that was cool. More VR stuff talking there. I took, also on a similar note, this week, I haven't really been doing any cracked work or anything like that on the train. I didn't really get started yet with my new Flash video for Vulture, And so on the train, I actually slept a lot, but I was watching tutorials for doing Unity asset VR stuff, because I'm thinking I should probably just get to a point where I just send a nice rendering to Equinox, to the guys over there, and basically say, hey, yeah, here's the kind of stuff I can do. I'll send them a pair of goggles and just let them experience that. So I'm trying to see, if I can get a workflow in place, and I'm watching some tutorials from like digital tutors and that kind of thing. And here's the thing, and I have this habit with tutorials, is I know what I need to learn how to do. It doesn't involve Mudbox or ZBrush or Substance Painter. But all these programs are covered in the tutorials I'm watching, and I love learning new things, so it's like, I want to learn how to do all this stuff too. And especially when I'm trying to, gear up for a new workflow, I should really just be more focused on what I need to learn right now. But I really love learning new software, and every time I get a new tool, it's like, feels like I'm adding something to my arsenal. And the thing I've already learned with ZBrush is like, oh my god, you can just like draw something, and then, it's almost like doing like a live trace in Illustrator, because then it becomes kind of like a vector object, and you can extrude it and then have like a live feed between ZBrush and 3ds Max. So there's tons of potential there for some really fancy modeling, but I'm probably not going to have to do that. The stuff for Equinox would mostly be texturing, modeling, etc. I feel like I need to keep talking, but I don't. That's kind of where VR stuff is right now. I had another work from home day this week, which was very productive, and that's really useful to be able to have that extra time, not commuting or driving, to be able to get other things done. And it was a very productive day, so I hope my office can be okay with me working from home occasionally. No one's really given me any guff about it so far, but I just really want to prove to them, like, yeah, I can get a lot done while I'm at home. So, yes. VR.